Hi everybody, we're back. I got her second eyeball on. I took all the paper out of the back and cleaned that up. What I've been doing is stuffing a plastic bag in there, and I'm leaving that in there all the time to help hold some of the moisture in. Also, I'll still continue to bag it, but I'm going to start giving it a spritz. I'll take the bag out, spritz it inside and outside before I bag it at the end of each session. But what I'm going to do today, oh my gosh, I just boogered up that eyeball. Oh, you got to be so careful. These little eyelids are just so fragile. All right, I'll go back and fix that. But what I wanted to show you was I started to take the nose off. The nose is too long. And the reason none of this was working, like I couldn't figure out the cheeks, and I kind of had a feeling the nose was too long anyway. So I'm cutting it off. I wanted to show you this. You just can't be afraid to cut. It's wrong, it's wrong. So just make the change. And on the last video, I had poked my tool through the nostrils anyway. So I thought, well, before I make those repairs, I'm going to go in here. Just take the nose off, and then I'm just going to get rid of a section of it here. Okay. You might have noticed earlier what I was scoring with. This is actually my Sureform, and some of the brands of Sureform, can't see that very well, actually have a really sharp edge, and it's a great scoring tool. I like it a lot. So that's what I was scoring with in my last video, and I'm going to score with it again. And sometimes I'll just dip my scoring tool into the water or the slip and go ahead and score with water like this. And that raised a really nice tooth on there. The same thing here. I am going to throw some slip on here because this is solid, because I put it on as one solid piece, and I want to make sure I'm not going to get any air trapped. I'm going to throw a slip up here. Just let me score this too. This is the top of the nose where I cut it. Now when I put this on, it's not going to fit right because I cut down lower where it was fatter, and I'm putting it back here where it's more narrow. But I'm just going to get it on there, get it straight. You can probably tell I've done this before. I was thinking today, maybe I should just make all my women have really long noses, because I always make them with these long noses, and maybe like Modigliani made all of his figures with these long necks. Maybe I should just go with it, and they'll say, oh yeah, she's the woman that has all those, all her sculptures have those big long noses. That would be my thing. But not today. Today we're going to go ahead and do it right. I'm really going to give it a good push, because I want to make sure all that slip comes gushing out all the way on all sides of the nose. I think you can see that's a little bit more in perspective. Let me grab my brush, do a little cleanup. Wow, what a mess she is right now, but that's okay. We're going to work on pretty in a little bit. Now I still have a bit of a bump in here where I didn't quite transition properly, so I'm just going to grab a little bit of clay, roll myself out a little coil. When you're doing all these little additions and subtractions and adding slip to hard leather and adding soft plastically clay right out of the bag, when you're in the hard leather stage, the hard leather is very adept at grabbing all that moisture and wicking it back and forth. So it sets up pretty quickly. But the best thing that can happen at the end of the day is that you can put it in a bag, wrap it up really tight, double bag it if you have to. As it sits overnight, it's just going to pass that moisture back and forth and back and forth. And it's going to even it out, and everything's going to be beautiful the next morning. I had a little bit of an uneven nostril. Okay, so that needs some work. But I'm going to continue to work on it. I just didn't want to do that change on the nose without showing it to you guys. All right, I just wanted to do a little bit more housekeeping and a few more little technical things with this guy. All right, so I moved her nose up, and in doing so, that allowed a lot more room for the mouth. So I went ahead and I made the mouth a lot more generous. I added clay here and here. And you know, one of the things that you may want to do, I have a mirror that I keep here because there's all sorts of things like, how does this part attach to this part, that I look in a mirror to figure out. And one of the things was how this all attaches here and how these things here work. So I got all of that taken care of and just adding little teeny coils of clay. Once I got that nose in the right place, gosh, I could just pick at this forever. Sorry, guys. Makes me crazy. Once I got that nose in the right place, then that opened everything up and I was able to get the cheeks in. I got my eyes fixed. I took my Sureform and I went over the outside here. I had some lumps and bumps and it was a little uneven, so I really worked a lot on my symmetry. Once I opened up the distance between the nose and the lip, then I realized I needed to open up this distance here, so I added a little bit more clay onto the chin. Okay, so this is where I'm at right now. Now, because of where everything's landed, you'll notice that the eyes aren't exactly in the middle of the head like they were when we first started, but it is in the good place as far as the hairline. So when I start adding hair up here on the top, that's going to balance those eyes out and put them back into the right spot. Moving to the back, I added just a little bit of clay along here, and then I just did kind of a little rickety-rack thing on here. You know, the balance of your mask and how it'll hang, it's going to be different for every mask, and if you don't, you know, give yourself some leeway, that's what this is for, so I can slide this back and forth on the nail, and so I can get it balanced so it doesn't sit cattywampus on the wall. I can get it to hang straight when I go to hang it. So make sure that this hanging apparatus is nice and thick. I added a coil and I attached it in the back and on the front, and then I went ahead and I cut that. In the previous video I was talking to you about how I had cut out some of the stuff here to take out some of the extra clay. That's how I knocked my nose off. And now, and I had alluded to this, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to poke holes. And you know, let me get, hold on. I'm going to get the lamp back over here because I thought that was really effective in showing you lighting up the interior of the mask. So we're going to try that again. There we go. There's the interior. And what I'm doing is I'm poking just a million holes, especially in the areas where I added clay. I'm looking at brow lines and noses and things like that. So the chin, I added a bunch of, I better watch that chin. I'm going to pick it up off so I don't smash that new chin. I added a bunch of clay into that chin down here. I have a lot of clay I added for my nose, the cheeks. And so I'm just poking holes and poking holes so that if by any stretch of the imagination I made the mistake of getting a little air pocket caught in there, and as I said in the previous video, and I'm going to say it here in case you missed it, this little shaft made by the pin tool is going to be an easy release point for the air. If there's a pocket of air in there, it's going to take the path of least resistance. So rather than it blowing my nose off the front of my mask, I'm hoping that that air will go and find where I've made a shaft with my pin tool, and it's going to blow out through there. So it's just like a little escape valve for the air. And if it is going to blow anything off, it's going to blow it off the back of the mask rather than the front. So if you get a chip of clay blown off the back of the mask, it's not that big of a deal. But if you get it blown off front, that is a big deal. So I'm just going to continue to do that. I'm also going to sign it. Okay, so there's just some of the little technical housekeeping things that you need to take care of. Get your symmetry down, get your balance, work on all your details. I will be coming back to you with a video on hair and one on ears.